No more showdowns. This Thor still adheres to the fact that there are players who lack something. We launched this G80 rake handle. It means that when you get it, you can tell that it has put a lot of effort into it. For example, a new action sword that can be manually switched and a force adjustment TMR joystick have been added. Seeing this, many students want to say, "Oh, what's so strange about this? Didn't other families have it for a long time?" But listen. The previous force adjustment waist bar was silently adjusted. This time after Thor replaced it with a self-developed mechanical knob. This feel is immediately different. It's very advanced. There is more feedback adjustment and a stronger sense of confirmation. It is also very uniform in the hand and is not loose under light pressure. As for this action piece and the electric one of the chicken nine-tailed fox, it seems that there is a good way to do the same thing. It's just that Thor is a slider that manually switches and switches. The sunken design is adopted, and the handle is held normally. Press the action button, and there will be no cut of the hand. However, due to the sinking structure, the interior is not completely closed. So I'm still a little worried about the problem of dust. The D-pad also continues the tradition of the original G80 replaceable. There are two types of disc and cross key. Optional, but I have to complain a little. It's really a bit difficult to disassemble. The design is so tight. Is it to be changed or not? Its face shell is also quite interesting. Front gradient. The transparent back of the fully transparent trigger gives a two-stage trigger lock. Simple lock construction without micro-movement. There are two back buttons on my handle which feel more Q-elastic kind. Pressing without effort. Seeing the wireless charging contacts on the back of this handle, you probably guessed it too. It supports wireless charging. Well, the news is that its G80 compatible charging base supports picking up the wake-up link. Put down the hibernation to charge. If you happen to have this base in your hand, then it can be used. The handle is 224 grams, and it adopts an Spox-like shape. The grip and shoulder button trigger are equipped with anti-slip patterns, and the grip feels good. The ABXY key and the Thor logo key use a conductive glue scheme. Rebound evenly. Soft feel. Not loud pressing. By the way, the other function line buttons are all overdrive chip solutions. The cross key, sharp key and back key use tactile switches. However, the cross keys and back buttons feel good. I feel a little stiff on the sharp keys. Almost meaningful. The trigger was only given a two-stage trigger lock. It's a pity. There is no slight movement and double cut. You want me to say it? Xiao Lei, you are a little confused. You have given so much. Are you still missing a slight movement? Why can't you work a double sign? His brother G80 can have. Why didn't Lei Sign answer me? The joystick supports 30 to 90 GR damping, infinitely adjustable. You can adjust the feel as you want. The most awesome thing is its vibration feel. The motor is a 20mm voice coil linear motor imported from Japan. Connect PC10 to simulate rotor vibration and vibration feel. Compared with traditional rotor motors, they are much smaller but more delicate. But these two motors can only be used after connecting the switch. The full strength of the NS Pro handle is more delicate than the NS Pro handle. The degree is similar, but the intensity is much stronger. Mario Marvel plays particularly obviously. The sound of Rachel singing can be heard when you hold it in your hand and play normally. But the NSPRO is very small, and you have to stick it to your ear to hear it. The mode switch key of the handle is set behind the handle to support PC, Android, iOS. The switch platform has a gyroscope and supports one-click wake-up. The URS side can dial this button over. Perfect fit. App is currently a third-party clinker that can be modified to change the waist bar, back key mapping and other more conventional operations. In terms of vibration, high-frequency detail has also been added. Low-frequency vibration is slightly enhanced. The waist bar is the use of empty silver Blue Dragon TMR force adjustment waist bar. The test return rate is limited and 2.4 G. It can have a 1000 Hz return rate. The average resolution reaches about 2000 G. The arrow values are very evenly distributed. This uniformity is no problem at all for playing FPS. The test stick has a 5% center point by default. No solid terrain dies. The outer ring uses a circular adjustment of the two joysticks, and the joysticks can be switched by pressing down at the same time. The center point of the no-dead drive mode has no jitter and is very silky. Actual line test without the risk of string connection trigger. It is Hall's key. Straight linear change. Short threads are non-linear one-click triggers. For burst and red recording, it is all achieved through the M key at the bottom. The keys can be set manual burst or automatic burst. You can also use the shortcut key, M plus M1 M2 to make a combo baby for the reserve line. In terms of games, this joystick resolution is also completely okay to play FPS games, plus the blessing of the voice coil motor. The game performance on the Switch platform is also very good. Officially, Rachel can connect to Switch 2 to play, although you don't have a Switch 2 in your hand right now, but maybe you'll have it in 2 days. Dismantling the machine, I mainly want to see that this one has a mechanical rod. How is the force of the waist bar realized? Before saying this, let's take a look at this battery. It looks like it is protected by a battery pond, but it doesn't have a battery. The capacity, quite sincere, has 1200 mAh. The connection to the motherboard adopts a socket scheme. The motor uses a more expensive voice coil linear motor, but it is soldered directly to the motherboard. There is no socket. The conductive glue scheme is used between the actions. LED lights are set in the middle of the conductive rubber buttons on the motherboard. The silicone layer is also set up with holes to facilitate lighting. Switching by button is through a disc and panel that should have 8 keys. Here the slider forms a slider to slide back and forth to switch the button arrangement. The stone sword is Thor's self-developed super shaft. The inside of the stone sword is a light touch switch scheme, with a total of 8 layers. The structure is still quite tight. There is no string of keys in the middle of the measured press. The sharp keys and back keys are all tactile switches. The trigger is a Hall trigger, and the 2 sections are trigger locks, fixed to the housing. This damping stick is interesting. It is connected to the motherboard by a cable, although the handle of the force adjustment joystick is much different. But here is still a simple science popularization process for its implementation. In fact, the force adjustment joystick looks similar to the traditional joystick. The damping adjustment is by rotating the external cover. Drive the disc base inside the rocker to lift upwards. The spring inside the rod is compressed, and the damping is increased in the player's feel. But after the joystick is completely removed, I found that there was no crisp mechanical sound. There was no sound when I put it on. It is adjusted to silence. There is still a bit of panic here. I thought it was broken. I planned to install it first. But after the back panel is installed, the sound is there. Did the smart audience in front of the screen see what's going on? In fact, his voice is not in the joystick here. A round of gear rotation is added to the bottom of the outer cover. Drive the bottom paddle. Press the micro button on the back panel. The mechanical sound was made. No wonder the listening paper is a bit like a micro movement. It turns out to be a micro movement. Sure enough, high-end feel often only requires the most modest combination. I have to say, the small Rachel G80 does hide a lot of blackness. Technology to adjust the TMR joystick switchable action sword. 1200 mAh large battery voice coil linear motor. So do you think this hardware strength plus the base is 269 yuan? The price of 299 yuan for the base can be put into the current handle ring.